Alex Higgins, the United Kingdom champion, trying to find a way to hang on to his title, and Steve Davis, the world champion, trying to take it live from the Guildhall here in Preston as we get ourselves geared up to start this final day in the Coral United Kingdom Professional Snooker Championship. The two players who will dominate that table for the rest of the day, Mr. Higgins and Mr. Davis. The two who dominated it here exactly 12 months ago. The final of the famous pullback, Higgins from being 7-0 down, stealing the title in the very last frame, 16-15. And he's down again at the start of this final day. Down by the tune of 9 frames to 5, a 31-frame final, and a 17 to be played today. And Higgins at one stage, in fact, was 5-0 down. So, another pullback on the cards, or what? We're going to find out here today. And they've both, in fact, had frights on the way to this particular final. Alex Higgins's, in fact, came at the hands of Rex Williams there with that score of 9 frames to 7. He finally beat him. And he had another fright against Cliff Thorburn as well, in a match full of incident. But he's there on the table today against Steve Davis. And his passage hasn't been that easy. He'll remember for a long time his match against Tony Meo, his stablemate, where Tony Meo almost stole the match away from him. Davis within a natch or two of being knocked out in 2 major tournaments in a row, having lost, of course, to Thorburn in the Rothmans Grand Prix down at Reading. But Davis is there, twice a champion, last year's runner-up, trying to beat Alex Higgins here today. And we'll be starting that match in just a second or two, joining the very first frame. You won't miss a thing. Willie Thorne's just popped in here to join me. Willie, the big question is, can Higgins do it again? Yeah,
it's obviously essential that he must win the first session. He's got to make Davis win at least 4 frames this evening. If he can win it 4-3 or 5-2, he's certainly back into the match. But if he loses a session, it's gone. You've been talking to him. Do you think he's in the frame of mind to do it? I've never seen him better. I mean, you'd think he was 9-5 in front, not 9-5 behind. He's dancing around in the practice room and thinks he's winning and going to win, and looking forward to the battle. And with Lauren, his daughter, being 4 years old today, he could do anything, couldn't he? That's right. Could do absolutely anything. Sit and enjoy it with us, as I'm sure you're going to do. And as I say, we can now take you down into the hall down there. It's a packed Preston Guildhall here this afternoon. Our commentators on the opening session will be John Spencer and Jack Carnham. Jim Thorpe is the referee in charge, and the MC just waiting to introduce the players is Eddie Regan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final is the best of 31 frames. There'll be 7 frames played this afternoon, and there are further 10 scheduled for this evening. There will be an interval of 20 minutes after 4 frames. And now the players in the final of the 1984 Coral UK Professional Snooker Championship. A young man who won the Coral title in 1980 and 1981 and is the current Embassy World Champion from Romford, Steve Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, a former world champion and the current Coral UK champion from Manchester, Alex Higgins. Officiating international referee, Mr. Jim Thorpe.
And I think that gives you an idea of what the atmosphere is like inside here, the best wishes cards, and there, the pictures that you'll see in your newspapers tomorrow morning. Still the game's 2 most talked about players. Steve Davis, I don't know what he's saying no about. I think he wants to get on with the match. But never mind about the pictures in tomorrow morning's players. Here's the action from Preston Guildhall this afternoon. We hope you've got the best seat in the house. John Spencer will be giving his comments, and Jack Carnham will be opening up commentary on this frame. Steve Davis, 9, Alex Higgins, 5. Enjoy it with us.
frame, Steve Davis to break.
So frame 15. Steve Davis breaks and gives queuing room for Alex.
Foul stroke. 7 to Steve Davis.
Well, that's quite an unusual start, and I would suggest there was a little bit of nervousness in that elbow of Alex Higgins then. So Steve Davis just waiting a moment while they're just checking that the scoreboards are working accurately. And Alex, of course, is well aware that he's playing against a man who starts very well in tournaments. Well, I would think Alex is pleased that that cue ball stopped tight on the cushion. That wasn't a good shot he played.
6. Seven.
And plenty of reds available here for Steve, but the colour's not situated too well.
Nine.
Now he has got an angle on this red that if he wants he can probably nudge the black towards the right hand corner pocket when potting the red. And if he should get the black back on the spot, he could be in with a good chance here. I think he's electing to screw back for the blue instead.
10.
Frames today, and of course it's the first one to 16. Well, there you see the problem ball, and that is very off-putting when you're playing like this. And of course Jim Thorpe, he's watching very closely. And my word, he got a lot of power into that shot.
15.
I think Steve was just checking there to see if he holds this there, if he would have left anything.
To Steve Davis.
just about a snooker.
And the fact that this game has been going about 13 minutes and only 22 points on the board will suit Alex, who is known as a slow starter. Steve usually gets off the mark very quickly. And I'm sure by now Alex will have settled down a little bit.
Well, Steve obviously seeing problems here. Of course, he can't nestle on a red at the top of the table here because there are reds available. And of course, he's really, ideally, would like to get back down the table, but that would be difficult indeed. Well, this is make your mind up time. Well, obviously just trying to very finely catch a red there. But I think he's left one here, left two in fact. Not easy. That really was a beautiful shot. One has to remark on that.
Eight. Nine.
And that shot now gives Alex an excellent chance here because he'll just pot the blue and then remove the red just to the left of the black, which has been causing the problems on the black.
22. $23. $30.
Well, and it seems now that Alex has really got into his flow, and I would suggest that the bout of safety that they've had has given him a chance to settle down into his play.
$38. 39. $45.
Well, that was certainly a tough shot, real pressure ball that. However, that gives him 27-point lead.
$6.
And now 33 in front. And even though it's the final and a lot of pressure out there, I would
7.
expect Alex to clinch this frame from this position.
$12. 13.
So just this red now to leave Steve needing snookers.
18.
And a very important frame this for Alex to win.
19. $25. 25 to Alex Higgins.
Well, that's the sort of thing that will fire this fella.
Seven. 8.
And I must say, I think Alex has really played well in this frame. He started
15.
winning this frame from an almost impossible position.
17. 20. 24. 29.
So this nice clearance for Alex Higgins
35.
enables him to pull a frame back, and it is now 9-6.
Tremendous applause down there in the hall as Alex Higgins takes the score to 6-9, just 3 behind. I wonder how significant that is, because Davis is always the great starter of a session, and Higgins has taken the opening frame. Davis is also rather superstitious. You may have noticed this little incident at the start of the match when the press were taking their pictures of the two finalists, and they said something to Davis, and look what happened. No, he says, no. Now, I wonder what he was saying no about, and in fact, Willie Thorne thinks he knows exactly what he was saying no about.
Yeah, that's right, David. Steve is very, very superstitious. He won't even touch the trophy at any time until obviously he's won the game or won the tournament. He just likes to keep his hands well away from it. Even on programme pictures we've seen in the past, his hand is, as if he's pretending to touch the trophy, but he never touches it.
In fact, Alex gave a little shrug of the shoulders at that time. Whoa,
Very interesting, wasn't it?
There it is. So he won't put his hand on the trophy until he wins it. Alex Higgins is probably saying, you might as well. It could be your only chance today. Anyway, the match now poised. Whatever happens, we're into a full final day of snooker. Alex Higgins looking very busy indeed. Just the gap now of 3.
Well, Steve makes a mistake. They're looking for a thin contact to get back to bottom cushion. Well, it seems to be catching.
4 to Steve Davis.
Alex a chance now to attack again.
Yes, Jack, and at this moment in time, I would say that Steve is showing far more signs of the pressure than Alex.
6. 7. 12.
Do you think, John, the effect could be on Steve having had that very dramatic lose last year against Alex when he was so many frames in front?
Well, I don't know whether it'll affect the result of this tournament at all, but I'm certain of one thing. There is no possible way Steve will be able to rule it out of his mind completely,
20.
what happened last year. There isn't a man been born yet that can shut something like that out, and particularly as if Alex closes the gap a little more.
$21 to Alex Higgins.
Very noticeable that Alex there has refused 2 half chances purely to try and keep the pressure on Steve.
That's a better one from Alex. Really tight on that bottom cushion.
And this one has to be accurate off the red, just to the left of the pink, round the angles.
No, certainly knocking in the pressure ones.